Hey guys, how's it going? This is
Boys, Booze, and Blood!
Welcome to our first show!
Woo! Ow! We've been trying to get this up for a while.
Quite a while, actually.
So it's happening now.
Well, hi guys. I'm Velfornia13 on Instagram. Check me out.
And this is Edward, known as Beloved Freak on Instagram.
I'm Beto Lozano. Welcome.
I'm George, Jug16X on Instagram, and first podcast. This is great.
Yeah, this is
Finally getting it
exciting.
done.
With some booze.
Oh, that's true.
Lots of
Cheers.
booze.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And blood.
Oh, let's
Well,
There will be blood. There will be blood.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes,
Cheers
yes,
to
yes.
We got the whiskey on deck, ready to talk some horror and
We
everything.
love it.
But
We love it.
you know, people really liked our live feed.
Yeah, we got a
They
pretty
did.
good reception, and people want more.
Exactly.
So-
So why not do the actual podcast and just get it out there, get our
So,
conversations?
yeah,
Because
we'll give them more.
there's a lot of good feedback.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about it ourselves for a little bit, so you guys get to know us, and that way, every time
Yeah.
you listen to the podcast, you have
A little insight on us.
you have a little insight,
Yeah.
so you know what personalities you're working with.
Or listening to.
George, do you want to go first? Do you want
Yeah,
to?
sure. I mean, basically, what we're just gonna do is just how we got into the genre. I mean, like, what's interesting is how we all have a connection on Instagram, and we
We
just
do.
found each other. And believe it or not, that's actually how I met Edward.
Yeah.
Instagram. It's like he was a follower of mine. I'm like, oh, he's in the LA area. I gotta meet more horror people because, back then that's how I got it started. I started posting my movies, and I'm just like, I'm watching this, and that, and it's like, why not have a good friendship to do that with?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's totally
Absolutely.
I always wanted to have our own little clique, kind of like Scream, in our
very
last
cool.
summer, like have our little group thing, and just share our same interests. And I know there's a lot of people out there. There's a big gay horror following, and it's out there. So
There is.
my thought was, we have a big group here in LA. Let's bring us all together and do something fun.
Mhm.
But what's interesting too is that we do share that we're gay and we like horror and everything, but we see everything differently. So it's interesting to see the difference of opinion of everybody.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
No, that's true.
'cause
We have
everybody's
different opinions and everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
some people like The Witch. I myself find it very boring.
But that's a different discussion. We'll get into that. But that's the whole point of this podcast, is that we're going to share things that we love, things that we don't love, and things that we'll debate and agree or disagree. And we'll share both stories.
And it's totally okay to disagree with each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it makes good for
Better.
It makes
conversation.
good debate.
We
That's
can
what
talk
it is.
shit.
You want to talk? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw that shade.
So I wanted to
sass.
ask you guys, starting with Vel,
Yeah.
what is it that got you into horror? What is your first memories of that? What movies?
What really got me into horror, I think, was Scream is my favorite movie of all time.
Agreed.
So, greatest thing ever. But when I was young, my dad used to go to this liquor store, and next to the liquor store was a video store. And on the front door, right where you drop off the video, like to return the video, they had the Scream poster, and we'd walk by it every single time, and it's always said like, now on video for the first time, like blah blah, and it always made the biggest impression on my life. And I'm just like, I love everything that's going on in the poster. I love those floating heads. It's sexy, it's mysterious, and ever since then I've been obsessed. And granted, I've watched horror movies when I was younger than that. I've seen different things, but
It's interesting and funny that floating heads poster are really... they catch my attention too. The floating
Exactly.
heads is... okay.
it's a defining moment, I think, in
Yeah.
horror.
No,
No,
And
they
it-
all
yeah.
have those posters
Urban
where it's
Legend.
like all
Yeah.
all the characters are on that poster, like
Uh-huh.
heads like right there stacked on each other. It was Halloween, Resurrection,
Yeah.
H2O.
All the
Safe
attractive
Day.
people
of
just
them.
floating.
I know you
Yeah.
did last summer.
90s,
Exactly.
early 2000s, I think it was great, but that was just one of the things that caught my attention, and I was really impressed with them. It's like, wow, this is amazing, and I want more, and every time we pass by it, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Did you finally rent it?
Well, funny story. My parents would never actually let me watch the movie, but we went to these people's home, and their teenage son was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the video store with me?" I'm just like, "Yeah, let's fucking go." So he took me. He's like, "You can choose whatever you want." And I'm just like, "Scream," So we watched it, and that was the first time I've ever seen Scream, is at their place. Scared the shit out of me, but it was awesome. It was so much fun. So much fun.
What about you, Eddie?
Well, I got into horror very, very young. I love Tales of the Crypt, Twilight Zone. I too was inspired by the video store. I see the posters for Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser. So my uncle used to rent movies with me and my cousins, and we used to just make a bunch of popcorn and watch movies. And most of our horror films, I used to get scared. I liked and didn't like horror movies. I didn't like it because it did scare me, but I loved the thrill. I think that's what excited me. It intrigued me. And I like the sense of danger and who's going to live, who's going to die, and how they're going to die. It's an adrenaline rush. And I liked that feeling. So I think that's what excited me and got me intrigued into the genre. The first horror movie I saw in theaters was Hellraiser 3. And
Of all movies.
Of all movies.
I like that movie.
Because I'm a fan of the first two movies. I love a bunch of 80s horror movies. I grew up on like Halloween, Nightmare, Friday the 13th, all those things. So I loved the Hellraiser films. So seeing the third one, I begged and begged to go see it. My sister took me to go see it. I was amazed. I loved it. Not the best one, but it was still fun. It's a fun movie, especially when the girl gets skinned. Amazing. Yeah. But it was just a very fond memory of me growing up. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old when I first saw it. Then of course Scream and all those came in later on, and I got into slasher films. So, but I think my love for it came from 80s movies.
So you were able to go back and like have that original 80s slasher feel.
Oh yeah, I lived through it. I remember when I was 4 years old. I was in 1980, 88, 89.
Don't age yourself.
I don't care. But, but I'm just saying, like, I got to live through those days of when 80s horror was in. Scream wasn't in, and I know Disney wasn't in. The Saw movies weren't in. None of those were in. It was all about Freddy, Jason, Pinhead. Then we have our sci-fi films with the Aliens and The Thing.
Hell yeah.
So,
the 80s was a great decade for horror.
It was amazing.
That's probably the prime for slashers.
And I love that.
Who got you into it? Who was the first person or group of people that you saw?
I think it was part of it was my uncle and me, because my uncle used to take me to the video store, and I seen the posters. And that's another thing I loved about the 80s horrors, is that it was a lot of animation. A lot of the posters were very cartoonish looking. Yeah. So I thought, I'm like, oh my god, that's kind of cool. It's like, is it for kids or not? It's for teens. It's a little bit for everybody, but that's what excited me, is that the art of the movie posters, and I thought that really fascinated me.
Right.
So.
And they were creative.
Yeah, they're very creative.
They can get away with more because they are cartoons, so they can like.
Get graphic. It's graphic novels. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Especially the Nightmare films. All of those posters, I'm still a fan of those.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was great art too.
What about you, Jorge?
I mean, for me, I just remember the first horror movie I had an experience with was Scream, which I felt like was a lot of people. First movie, because it was a big thing at the time. Like, I was 5 years old. And my aunt rented it for me at the Blockbuster. Or actually, no, it wasn't Blockbuster. It was Hollywood Video in San Fernando. It was just right there. That's a throwback. But you know what? There. We all had that thrill of going into the video store and just looking at all the titles. That was like our thing. And you know what? That's what like
each cover you had to watch each cover, and whatever cover got you, that's the one.
Young people don't get that nowadays. Like, I see a lot of the kids that I work with at the school, and they don't have that joy. Like, Friday, Saturday nights were lit because we would go to the video store. I went to Mega Video in my hometown of Somar, and I would just go there, look through A through Z. They had a horror section, romance, and everything. And you'd see all the covers. You get your candy. You rent the movie. That was Saturday night.
Fuck yeah.
Like, that was great.
That was my thing. Just going back and forth the aisles and looking at the packaging, the box, the VHS tapes, reading it, looking at the pictures. That was amazing to me.
Your mind started running wild because you saw the picture and I was like, oh, maybe this bitch is this, like that.
Like, what am I getting myself into, right?
And for some reason, the sleepaway camp movies, their box covers were always so, like, I'm like, what is going on? Why does she have, like, is it part 2 or part 3? It might be part 3 where she had Jason, like the glove.
Oh yeah, she had the glove coming in.
And the everything. I'm just like, wow, like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Why does this girl have all of this? It was like, those were such defining moments to go to Blockbuster and see all of that.
Yeah.
But Scream for me was like the first entry for me. It was a thrill to see it at 5 years old. And I'm thinking, oh my god, this killer's killing all these people. Like, what's going on? And I actually got in trouble for watching it. Like,
where did you watch it?
My aunt rented it for me. It was me and my sister. She orders pizza. She put us in room. She's like, yeah, you guys watch it. I'm gonna watch my thing with my boyfriend. So I'm like, okay. So we watched it, and we got in trouble because our grandma walked in, and she's like, she saw Ghostface, like, I think it was when she was killing Tatum. And my grandma walks in, she's like, "Hi, Dios mío, like, what are you watching?" Like, and we didn't know, and she yelled at my aunt because she lived there at my grandma's house at the time, and she's just like, why are you letting him watch this, etc. So she got her ass handed to him, but then so did I, because I asked for it specifically. I was like, I want to see this because I saw people were talking about it, and you know what? It was an ass beating worth doing because it was just that got me intrigued into it. But believe it or not, I actually was afraid of horror movies for a time.
Oh wow.
A little bit after, it's like I had like insomnia, and I couldn't sleep because I saw Nightmare on Elm Street. My sister rented it, and I legit thought that my dreams could be invaded by some fucking killer.
Child killer.
Yeah.
So it's like for about 8 months to a year, I didn't sleep in my own room. I had to sleep either in the hallway or near my parents' room because I was so freaked out.
Wow.
So it wasn't until I got older that I was just like, okay, it's not real, it's just fun, and I enjoyed it. Like I started going to the video store myself, renting things like House of a Thousand Corpses, Hills Have Eyes remake, which was fucking epic. Like my summers from school, I would go to the movies right there and just rent all these movies and just watch them. And I enjoyed it. I was like, oh my god. And then that's just...
That remake is so hard for me to watch. With the rape and the mom dying.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot...
Well, it's a good movie. That scene was a little harsh to watch for me, too.
It was so good. It was a really good movie. But to go back and watch it again, I'm like, I have to prepare myself.
But believe it or not, that movie itself was what told... Because it was so extreme. Like, because of that, it's legitimately scary.
Yeah.
But I was okay. So I was like, oh, this is where my passion is. Like, I loved it. So it was
the rape scene.
The rape scene.
But this is what I need.
It was fucking gruesome. Like, it was a brutal movie.
Yeah.
It is.
If the fact that they were a family and like everybody got they knew it.
It's a sense of danger
and deep connection between each other. It's not. They're not just friends from high school. They're like a family.
Yeah.
And watching your mom or your dad or your sister get raped or murdered, that shit's hardcore.
But Wes did that with a lot of his movies.
Well, but I feel like the remake was more hardcore than the original, no?
Well, I think it had to make it more modern.
Yeah,
so
like more hard, more.
But see, I say the
graphic.
same thing about Last House on the Left. That was a lot more brutal than the original.
Yeah.
But that was a good movie.
Yeah.
See, that scene of the rape scene in that film wasn't as harsh. Like I could watch that. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't as graphic.
Yeah.
So to speak.
I don't know. I still feel like that was pretty hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
The remake.
Yeah. That was bad.
It was hard to watch, but not as bad as The Hills Have Eyes, right?
Yeah. The Hills Have Eyes is worse because it's like the baby was there, the dad was getting killed, the sister and the mom were there. It made the stakes a little bit higher.
Yeah. It was
House on the Left remake, it was just a girl with a guy on top of her, not...
But I think that's where the horror for that comes, is you were literally just given a girl and a guy, and that's all you see.
Well, it makes it more claustrophobic.
It's more claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Whereas the Hills of Eyes is awful, but you see so many different stories and so many different variations that there's different it's
a lot of different
there's a lot of things that they're throwing at you, and there's a lot to focus on. Whereas in Last House on the Left, you're just focused on the rape. And
but everything that they're throwing at you is bad. Is the dad burning? And
True.
The
yes, it is pretty bad. It is pretty bad. Yeah.
Imagine I was like,
getting raped, the baby screaming.
It was in 8th grade that I saw that, and I'm just like, even at that age, I was like, yes, I wanted more. It's like that passion just grew, because it's like, I don't know, like I could see crazy shit like on bestgore.com. I don't know if you guys go on that site, but it's like you see some like ISIS beheadings, things like that, and it doesn't shock me anymore. It's just I go for the extreme, but it's like I'm kind of like in a way like just numb about it, because it's like I watch so many horror movies that nothing will really shock me.
Torture porn,
things like that, and I'm just like, I'll watch it. I'm just be like, oh, that's brutal, but it's like I'm not gonna be like sick to my stomach.
Torture porn.
Yeah, that's all it is. I don't know, Beto, how'd you
it's your turn.
With me, like, I got tricked into it. As a Mexican, you're very close with your cousins and your uncles and all that.
Yep.
And I'm the youngest one in there, and they would watch all these movies, especially Dream Warriors and It. That was a rage in Mexico. Like, that shit was the rage in Mexico, and they tried to trick me into watching it, and they thought I was gonna like cry and stuff.
Dream Warriors? Serious?
Yeah, Dream Warriors was a big thing in Mexico, and everybody was talking about it. So they kind of like showed me both of them at the same time, and I was like 4 or 5 too, And I had nightmares about it. Dream Warriors, I had nightmares about it. And I couldn't sleep. I also thought he was going to come into my dreams. I was like, not into
It was longer.
Oh, there we go. We can keep talking.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're fine.
Should I start?
So start where
Start,
where you
okay.
left off.
So, my cousins showed me Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, which was scared with the shit out of me because I thought he was going to come into my dreams and kill me. I couldn't, if I shut my eyes, I can see him. And it was funny because I could see him in comic book form for some reason. I don't know. And that scene with the puppet and the guys run, like that shit scared the shit out of me. And then I hated clowns. Before even that movie came out, I went to the circus and I noticed that all the clowns had red eyes. And I know it's because of the makeup now, but when I was little, I was like, why are they eyes red? So that movie came out and then he was eating kids and I was like,
Nope.
Shit, bye.
Done.
But I kept wanting more. I was like, show me the clown movie again. And the Chuckies too. The Chuckies, like, I would run into my room and hide and they're like, Chuckies in there, fucking run outside. Bye, okay, I'm gonna go eat. But yeah, it was the adrenaline that kept me, like, the nervousness, like, it was the rush. That's what kept coming back to it.
See, in Mexico, I felt like Chucky was like the big thing.
Oh,
At least
yeah,
for me,
Chucky.
because like even when I would visit several times, because my parents wouldn't go anywhere else but fucking Mexico.
Yeah.
Like we would just go there. But my cousins were like, they would want to watch like Bride of Chucky when that came out. It took in Mexico. It takes like 3 years for shit to get popular. But,
Yeah. It was like
so
later in the
3
year.
years after it comes out in the local. We called it, what was it, like the papeleria, whatever.
Yeah.
It had like, it's basically like a thrift store of like small shit. You get like pencil paper, things like that, candy. And then they had like videos you could rent. And I don't know how they would track your ass down if you rented videos, but they just did.
They're Mexicans.
And
They have their ways.
no, you know what my greatest thing was? My aunt had a VHS. Do you remember the VHS, like, that would rewind it for you?
Yeah.
She had a red Corvette. And I would love that shit. Like, every time she would rent a video, I want to put it in and get, and press the button, and the red Corvette would, like, light up, and it would rewind the video, and it would sound like a car.
Did the lights pop up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it was the shit. Like, I love that. It was so nostalgic, but, it's, at the time, it was Bride of Chucky, and my cousins always wanted to watch it, and I watched it with them just because I wouldn't sleep, but I'd be like, oh my god, it's, Chucky. They're like, they would all scream too.
Yeah,
it's
Chucky's a shit over there. El payaso eso, which is Pennywise the clown.
Yeah,
Like,
Pennywise.
all that is really hardcore, but especially it's generational. Like my cousins that grew up in the 80s, and they grew up with that same, with the Jasons and the Freddys and the Michael. The Michael's not that popular over there though.
No?
They like the Jason, they like the Freddy, Chucky, and it.
They love
You know what it
Jason
is?
X.
It's because it's more
do?
supernatural. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think it has a supernatural aspect to it. That I think most people, and Latinos, they're all superstitious about shit.
Yeah.
So
I feel
think-
like the Halloweens are more quiet and like that, and the Mexicans like that.
But they do have their supernatural aspect.
Yeah.
As
Well,
well.
Halloween didn't get into it more until I say the sixth one, Curse of Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe,
Because they had a cult following.
Yeah.
So I think that's more it became supernatural.
That's when it became,
But me too. Growing up, Child's Play was one of my most traumatizing experiences because I'm a big toy collector. I love my action figures. I had a bunch of Cabbage Patch Kids and all this other cool stuff. So the idea of a toy coming to life and trying to kill me terrified me. And even more so, one of my cousins told my grandma that I love Chucky, that she went and got me a Good Guys doll.
I want to
And
know where you find them. Like,
I don't know, but I think she found it in some alley.
in LA, like
LA.
downtown.
In the art district, but she had it there, and my cousins used to terrorize me. They used to hide in different places in the house. They used to tape little knives or butter knives, put on top of the door, put in little creaks, and used to freak me out. Put knives under the door when I'm in the bathroom.
Nice.
So Chucky terrorized me as a kid. But growing up now as an adult, it's one of my favorite franchises. I
Right.
loved the Chucky movies. I think Bride of Chucky is what made me fall in love with it. Like, I loved all of them. Child Play 2 was one of my favorites growing up.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I was terrified of it, but I liked it. But when Bride of Chucky came out, I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Tiffany. I fell in love with Chucky. And I appreciated the older movies before it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bride of Chucky was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was different.
When
It
it
was more
came out.
funny than it was when you were younger, and he was really serious about killing people. Then it was scary, but then it was like he was funny about killing
Right,
people.
yeah,
and
it was
it's
more
cool.
sarcastic.
What I liked is that it changed the POV about it. Now
Yeah.
you see the killer's view when he's killing his victims, how he's planning things, how they're scheming, and I think it was kind of cool that they added a comedy level to it, sense of humor to play with it, because horror is funny.
Yeah,
you know, Evil Dead is funny. I think to me it was.
It is.
So
no, it's campy, and that's
it's a very campy.
It's ridiculous.
The first one was scary. The first one was scary.
It was a horror movie that it was unintentionally supposed to be funny, and then that's why the sequels were a little bit more comedic,
right?
Because they're like, oh, people,
that's why
they embrace the cheesiness and the campiness that you had no point, like you have no choice to make it funny,
right?
So, but I love the Evil Dead movies. I love comedy and horror mixing together.
That was great. I mean, Chucky was scary enough, but I remember seeing it like. Even dubbed in Spanish, it's fucking freaky.
His voice is creepy too.
There's something about it when I was like,
a Mexican Chucky.
Mexican Chucky is fucking scary. I don't know what it is. Many times in Mexico, because you know my aunt would only have like 3 fucking channels, but like it's like on one of the channels they'd have their movie nights and the movies would be played. It was like Child's Play, I think 2, and it's like you know he's in the foster home and everything, but it's like. Hearing them dubbed in Spanish, it's like you're kind of intrigued, and even as a child, it's like I was fluent in Spanish, and I knew what was going on, but it's just like I'm there intrigued, and I wouldn't be fazed by a lot of the kills. Yeah. It's like something about it drew me to it. It's like, you know, it's like, oh my god, even in this region of the world, it's like they still have horror. Like it's like this is exciting. It's like you're seeing someone get killed. There's something about like you have a crazy killer going after someone innocent. You know, nowadays it's all the slut, you have the nerd, you have the virgin and everything, you know, but it's like, it's a thrill seeing, you know, like, this person is gonna end their life is gonna end. It's like, this person's gonna come after them. It's like something about that chase, that cat and mouse
also,
game.
that's one cool thing about the Chucky movies, that you don't have your typical characters in it. You don't have your jock, the slut, you don't have any of that. All you had was Andy. That's pretty much it. And, you know, in the first one he has his mom. The second one he has his foster sister. So it's just interesting that as the movies goes. And I don't think any of them actually don't have your stereotypical characters. Stereotypes, yeah. So I think that's another fascinating thing about the Chucky films as well that intrigued me. That it has a different vibe to the horror movies. But I have to ask, since you've seen Chucky in Spanish, did they dub his screaming voice too? When he's like,
you know what? It's always some random Mexican dude screaming. It's like, but you know what they did? And I recall it because it's like, I remember my aunt set up in her living room and everything. And it's just like when his mom was about to, I think it was the first one because they did like a double feature. It was like the first one and the second one. And it's like, she's about to throw him in the fire. You know how he screams? It's like, they legit said, "I." They're like, like not just like, oh my god, like, what the
typical
fuck?
Mexican.
Typical ass Mexican, they go, "I," but it's like they had the dub voices and that made it cheesier.
Yeah.
So,
alright, Val.
Yeah.
So, as a gay fan, what attracts you to, what makes it different from straight boy?
Wow, that's a good question. I feel like as a gay horror lover, it's a way to express yourself, and it's a way that not a lot of people understand, and they're always kind of weirded out. You know, there's a lot of people who don't understand the horror genre, and there's a lot of people who don't understand gay people. Yeah. And I feel like the two just go together in some weird symbolic way, that it's a way to love yourself and to just not give a flying fuck about anything, you know? And that's something that I've always loved as a horror guy. The community itself is so welcoming and so beautiful, and I feel like people just need to appreciate what they have, and the horror movies themselves,
absolutely,
they appreciate what they're giving you, you know? I mean, there's so many bad horror movies and there's so many good horror movies. But I don't know. As a gay fan, I love the horror genre because of that, because of the community itself, and because of the way it's symbolic that you can be whatever you want to be, and you can be yourself. And of course, you have all those fucking amazing final girls, and growing up, I always aspired to be a final girl.
We always wanted to be the girl.
I wanted to be the girl. I wanted to be the one who survives at the end of the horror movie, completely, you know, torn to pieces, covered in blood, but still managed to kick ass and still survived. And that was, growing up, was my inspiration. I was just like, holy shit, like, I want to be her. I want to be this. I don't know if it necessarily means because I was gay, but...
I think it is. I think most of the gays love the Scream Queens. More than straight boys. Straight boys are not going to go for the Scream Queen, but that, for me, that's a big part, too.
And I appreciate the horror community for being so accepting of gay people in itself.
They are.
But the only thing that I want now is kind of just like more gay people in horror movies.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, there's sort of coming, like...
It's
to
coming,
light.
sort of. Yeah.
Like, okay, like the Town That Dreaded Sundown remake. They had, like, 2 gay characters. I mean, they got killed, and it was ambiguous because they were just like, okay... And it was very subtle. They're like, you know, okay, so how does it work? You do me, I do you, like, etc. And then they got killed. It was a subtle thing, but it was like, oh, gay characters. Another one was probably Scream 4, where they're like, oh, the only way you can survive is like you're gay.
But you can't kill me, I'm gay.
But they didn't have a gay character.
Well, no wait, someone was killed. That
what's
was
his
gay.
name? Wasn't it Robbie? No.
No, he said
Brian Chucky, the friend who gets hit by the truck.
Cherry Falls has a gay character.
Cherry Fall has a gay character. I feel like it's there, but it's not there.
It's
It's a little more subtle. It's not like...
It's subtle.
We're not
It's
represented.
What's
I don't think we are represented in the
like...
I haven't seen a gay
Freddy
horror character
like a
that I
fully
can
realized,
that
like a
I
fully
can
realized
relate to.
Alien
Yeah.
couple.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Oh, I haven't
Nightmare
seen
on
it.
Elm Street 2
yeah.
was the biggest gay movie
Oh, yeah.
for horror
Oh, yeah, for sure.
ever.
beginning to end is
Ever.
erotic.
Granted, they don't say it.
Yeah.
They don't spell it out
Everybody
for
knew
you,
it.
but it's there for you.
It was
It's
very
there.
campy.
You don't
It's
need-
there to relate with
The
it.
thing is that it didn't have to say it out there, but you just knew it from what
Yeah.
you saw. You got
Yeah.
the feeling of it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, of course, and it's something that I definitely want more in the horror community, and it's something that I aspire as an actor in myself to be. You know, I want to be that final boy,
Nice.
Yeah.
Exactly, that final
the final
point.
boy.
well, for me, there's 2 different reasons why I love horror movies, and I think why horror movies represent, or why gay people are attracted to horror movies. One is survival.
Yeah.
You know, surviving the worst case scenario, being attacked, being in fear, being scared. How are you gonna get out of it? How are you gonna survive?
Thinking of your toes.
Think
on your toes. On
you
your
know,
toes.
that manicure and pedicure, you know.
On
But
your toes.
I think that's another reason why a lot of are rooting for the final girl.
Yeah.
You know, that girl who everyone thinks she might be weak or whatever, but she pulls through. She's smart. She's clever. She outsmarts the villain and she survives. And I think that's what every gay person, you know, I feel like if we are living in fear, that's what we hope for. Or if we're living in, you know, there's people who live in certain places in the country where you can't be openly gay and they're not accepting, so you have to hide and you have to protect yourself. So I think that's another thing that I think gay people relate to horror movies, the form of survival, especially like Ripley, Sydney, or Gail.
Even they survive.
They survive.
Circumstance.
You know, and another thing is growing up, they tell us horror movies you're not supposed to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not, but you're intrigued and you want to.
It's taboo.
It's taboo,
Taboo,
but
yeah.
you still want to tap it. You know what I mean? So I think as gay boys, we're intrigued by that, by the genre. You know, we're watching something we're not supposed to, but we like it, and you know, so those are my 2 cents on why I love horror movies, and I think why horror movies represent the gay community, I guess.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's mostly, it's like it's an outcast feeling because it's like I think a lot of the way we grew up, it's like we grew up as outcasts in school. It's like we were not part of the
definitely.
popular that conformed to a lot of like what was expected of us. Basically, it's like we were kind of, because we were gay, we felt like we were a little bit on the outskirts. It's like we were, you know, on the outside of the football field. We were just watching, panning, etc. So it's like it was kind of like, for me, it was an escape. It's like I could relate to these characters because it's like they weren't the pretty girl, they weren't the jock. Even though, because the pretty girls and the jocks got killed, we were the nerds, we were the geeks. Even though some of the geeks got killed, even in like Nightmare on Elm Street, was it Dream Master or Dream Child, even the nerd, she got killed.
Yeah.
Her first kiss was Freddy. Like, you know, she got killed, but she made it farther than anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's like that was like a survivor element. It's like we relate to these characters because it's like they know kind of what we're feeling. For example, Taryn in Dream Warriors, probably one of the biggest outcasts, and was such a rebel. And it's like when I first saw that movie, I related to her because I was just like, you know, she didn't give a fuck what anybody else thought. She was just her own. She used her anger. Yeah. And I feel like as gay men, when we're figuring out our sexuality, we're angry because we don't know how to handle it.
Right.
So we need to channel that anger somewhere. And horror movies was a great way to channel it. It's like these people were getting killed and you were just rooting for the killer. Sounds morbid, but it's like it's a great way to channel anger. You know, some people do it with boxing, other physical things. We have this medium where we can just have that emotion. We're just like, yeah, and then we enjoy it at the same time. We get like a sense of joy out of it.
Or you could be beautiful and bad.
Exactly, you could be beautiful and bad.
You know what I appreciate too? The fact that a lot of people, whenever a crime happens or something bad happens, everyone's like, oh, it's because, they watch horror movies or blah, blah, blah. They watch violence and all this other stuff. To this day, I've never met a nicer person than someone who's in the horror community.
Yeah, definitely.
No. Someone who's in this world, who's the outcast, who's the person who goes to this.
And a lot of our Instagram people are like people that are like us. Like, we can even give shout outs to people like, okay, Joshua, Torn Prince, Brightside. David is exactly like the same thing. David, who
Silver
else
Shamrock.
do you know? Silver Shamrock, own podcast. Hey. It's like they all reach us on the same level. That's why we are so connected. We've been doing Thacker's Crackers Horror Challenge. It's like he does that every day and we interact. We do it every day and we have fun with that. We
super nice. Like there's not an asshole there.
No, all these guys are super nice. Like
not a killer.
Hopefully.
You won't find that.
No, we have several. I'm just trying to put out names, but say Michael Taylor, Those Hardest to Love, great guy, posts about it, everything. Yeah. Luke of Horror actually works in the industry and he's in the LA area, but it's just very humble. Puts out his info, everything, just shows themselves. It's like, and a lot of these people don't have to be gay. It's just you have that passion and you have that openness. It's like the horror community itself is something that accepts everybody. It's like doesn't matter gay, straight, bi, trans, whatever. You're accepted because you're here for the love of the genre.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like the gay community has really risen in horror of late.
Yes.
I feel like mostly when it first began, it was very straight-laced.
You were very surprised to find a gay horror fan. And I was like, oh, okay,
and now
another one.
You're not alone.
Everybody's here. Everybody's gay, and I find that to be very beautiful, so and cool. It's evolving. Everything is evolving, and it's amazing.
That's how we found each other.
No, it's true. That's exactly how we found each other. Instagram is a way for us to get together.
Which is why we first started on Instagram live feed, because that's why we kind of met everybody there. So we thought that was the best way to reach out to everybody, and everyone could get to know us on a different level.
No, right? Because I actually followed Vel before he even came to LA. He was in Chicago still, and I was like, oh yeah, this dude, he has a lot of good interests, the same thing like that. And we followed each other in the same manner. Yeah. It's like we look at their posts, and they're like, they take time, because it doesn't take that much to do a post, but if you put some thought into it, you put your filters, or you edit it to make it look nice, you take about 5-15 minutes a day.
Or 3 hours.
or 3 hours. But you take that time because you just have that much passion for it.
You're dedicated.
So it's like you have someone just like you putting the same effort.
Right.
Who's as passionate as you for it.
Absolutely. It's supportive.
It is.
It's a support system.
Like a bra. Yeah. well, for me, as a gay boy, the first thing that comes to mind is the bad bitches. I'm a fan of bad bitches. I've always been. I have a Wonder Woman complex. All I can think is that bitch is kicking ass. I like it. That's what interested me. I can't think deeper. I was never bullied in school, thank God. I came out when I was in middle school. I was friends with all straight boys. I never had you're gay treatment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, it wasn't I was looking for outsiders and I found them. I like bad bitches, and all of the horror movies, most horror movies have bad bitches.
You just have
and
the token bad bitch in here.
I am the token bad bitch.
Beto's ours.
And Nancy was the first one that I saw. She was beautiful, intelligent, and sassy and smart, and she had rogue hair. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm in. She booby trapped her own house, by the way, and like beat the guy. So I was just like, oh my god, like they're like that. Just that's what I identified because I felt like I had that power because I was the only gay boy I knew that wasn't getting bullied. You know what I mean? Because I was true to myself, not superior. I was true to myself, and if you put that out there, they respect it. If they call you faggot and you go run and hide, they're gonna keep doing it.
Absolutely.
So if they call you faggot, and they lose their power.
Stand up to them.
Like Frank
Face your
Krueger,
fears.
they lost their
Lost
power.
his power.
And that's what happened to me, and that's what I related especially to her. But other than that, like they know, these guys know that I'm not a Sydney guy, I'm a Gail guy because she's proactive and
Right.
she goes and finds and
She's fierce, she stands
go
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. But yeah, I would love more representation of people like us because I think we're badass too in the horror community.
Right.
And I think it's gonna happen. Like everybody now is starting to realize that the gay best friend is smarter than the straight guy. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
It's gonna come to that point where like the gay guy's gonna survive because he's smarter than everybody, and he likes or the best friend of this or of the final girl. It's gonna.
And we're more fun anyways.
We
so,
are more fun. They should revolve the movie around us, honestly.
I
And
mean-
then kill us at the last second.
Right.
The only horror movie that was like particularly gay, like the first gay slasher film that I've ever seen,
Hellbent.
was Hellbound.
Hellbound,
Exactly.
yeah.
But you
And-
know what? My problem with that movie was that it was so stereotypical. Because it was like all in West Hollywood. It was a cheap ass movie.
Yeah.
Like, when you see it, it's like very cheaply made.
Right.
But you know, it was probably the only thing I saw as a gay representation in a slasher movie, which wasn't terrible, wasn't good either.
It was accurate.
It was accurate.
It was.
It's like-
There's stereotypes.
To degree
There's-
is accurate.
There's stereotypes because there is stereotypes. There
Yeah.
is
And
the
people live
jock
up to
guy.
it. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't escape it. It
You
exists
have to
because
re-
it happens.
Exactly.
It's real.
People are gonna relate to one of the characters because they are that character.
I almost feel like that movie though went into the they wanted to make it a satire.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make fun of the fact that so many horror movies have this.
Yeah.
And as a gay movie, let's just throw it in there, you know,
Yeah.
for fun. Let's
Play
just,
out the stereotypes.
let's just do
Why-
it. You know, yeah.
If you're gonna do it, commit and do it and push
Yeah.
the barriers. You
Because
know.
honestly, in a lot of movies, it's like where there's a gay guy, it's always the sassy feminine guy who's got
Right.
something to say.
Right.
And it's like, that's just one type.
Yeah.
You know, it takes all types. Like, we could probably be the final girl.
Definitely.
There's a lot of us that are just...
And we
strong-
all are different, but we all probably could
Well,
survive.
Right.
You know what? That's what I connected to the movie Final Girls because they try to change that up. Like you don't have to die just because of who you are. You could live and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I like that it switched the roles around.
Mhm.
So yeah, I totally agree on that.
Mm-hmm. There's this movie called Pitchfork that just came out not too long
I
ago.
was gonna watch it.
I haven't seen it, but
It looks so hard to watch, though.
I mean, it does. It has its problems, I'm sure. But the lead actor, Brian, me and him actually worked on a short film together,
Oh,
and
no.
he plays a gay character in the movie, and he's the final,
boy, right? Yeah.
Which I think is kind of really cool. And he's not the stereotypical gay character. He's he's masculine. And I haven't seen the movie. I've only seen the trailers and clips and stuff like that, of course. But I feel like it's in the right direction, and we're all headed into that territory where, you know, gay characters will go away from being the stereotypical flamboyant gay characters, and who knows, the bitchy cheerleader will actually be the fucking smart cheerleader, and
You never know. Things are changing.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
in this day and age, it's like things are changing so much, like, and just in the political realm, etc., that it's like we need to sort of progress in the sense and just like showcase, you know, movies cannot be just the same old black and white like it once was. It's
Exactly.
like there is a variety of people and colors. Like, prime example, like Wonder Woman just came out, and yet
Yeah.
that did so well. A woman took charge of that fucking movie.
Yeah, she did.
And just like it's propelling itself, and it's like people are praising it not so much for the quality of the film, which itself is exceptional, but the fact that it's like this is a woman of color. It's like it's an Israeli woman carrying this big blockbuster film,
Mm-hmm.
and she's taking it into her own, and it's getting attention.
It had a distinct vision.
It had a distinct
Great.
vision, and it's like, look, because the DC universe itself is kind of like, but it's like this is like gave it hope. So it's like maybe in the horror genre, we could give it hope by just taking out the old formula and switching it to something new.
I am
And
craving for
reinvent it.
for a new and inventive slasher
Yes.
that can turn us on its head and then like, what was the last good slasher that you guys watched?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Exactly. I heard groans all around. There needs to be legitimately legitimately.
The
This
whiskey has hit.
motherfucker.
It has hit.
It's my Mexican accent.
Cheers.
That's all the time, people.
No, it has to be some like to make the cheerleader survive. Like that would like just turn it on its head. Like the way sorry. The way
Not my
Scream did
glass.
it for us.
Mm-hmm. You know, All the Boys Love Mandy Lane.
That was so good.
That was a great movie.
A lot of people hated it for some fucking reason, but I love that movie.
No, I do too. Only
Love.
for the reason that it takes a little bit of the old formula, but
Mhm.
flips it.
But flips it
It's
on
like-
you. Yeah.
Cause I think she was technically the cheerleader, right?
Yeah, she was the
she was
popular-
the odd girl.
the hot odd girl.
The hot odd girl.
'Cause
who
all the
became
boys wanted her.
famous, right. And then
But
she
you know,
became-
wasn't the killer a gay guy?
No.
It was her best friend.
her
Yeah.
best friend.
The best friend who
but
was
he
in love
was
with
in
her.
love with her.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Thank you for ruining for me.
You haven't seen it?
No.
It's on YouTube
What?
for free.
You've
It was on
never
Netflix.
seen it?
No.
Yeah, it's,
Shut the fuck
I've
up.
been-
sorry.
I live in a rock under a shell somewhere. in
Oh my
Hollywood.
god, that's so gross.
I've been binge
Cheers.
watching TV.
Oh,
We're
cheers.
taking regular
Cheers.
shots.
Take a
and cheers.
Yes.
And if you haven't been drinking this entire podcast, well, we're sorry. So
We're drinking
'cause
for
I've
you.
been, like,
start
not
now.
Struggle at first, but we're having fun. Like, this is great.
Start
And
drinking.
FYI, I'm not an alcoholic, but cheers.
You know, I feel like a lot of people are gonna see the name Boys, Booze and Blood and be like,
They're
"These
expecting
bunch
us to
of
be drunk.
gay ass alcoholics, like
Yeah.
talking shit about horror."
Guilty.
We haven't even thrown some shade at horror yet. We haven't even.
Well,
done
We
that.
just did. We haven't
Well,
seen
that's
a
a
good
new.
slasher in a while.
We're getting into like the pros and cons of horror movies, what we like, don't like, what Terrify does. We're getting into different topics, which is good.
I think something that's actually kind of been like bothering me lately is the fact that horror is trying to be too serious right now.
I think so, but you know what? A lot of
Like
the
it's being
good,
too serious.
a lot of the good horror movies are not really made by major studios. It's a lot of the indie ones.
Mhm.
Like the last good one I saw, to be honest, that was actually sort of suspenseful. Was I think it was called The Devil's Backbone, or not The Devil's Backbone,
Candy.
or The Devil's Candy.
The Devil's Candy,
with
yeah. With the rocker
Ethan
guy?
Embry.
Yeah,
with
that
Ethan
was
Embry.
good.
By the way, Ethan Embry, fucking hot in that movie. Built, rock solid.
His face did not grow.
Tattoos, but he was
H-Rock.
fucking hot in that
his-
movie.
his
Body
was
wise,
on.
yes, but
Body
he's like a
wise, he was
shrimp.
hot.
I haven't.
But
kind
that
of
movie
had
was
him.
fucking suspenseful because I don't know if you guys
It
have
was
seen
good. Have
it.
you guys seen it?
Like-
Oh, gotta.
I mean, it wasn't gory because I'm a person that
But
likes
it-
gore.
It was intense.
but it was intense because you saw that scene where it's
So it's
like
suspense. That's what.
it's suspenseful.
suspense thriller.
And this guy's possessed, and he's like, you know, his daughter. It's like he wants to like take her for the devil.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a moment like this is not a big spoiler, but it's just like one of the scenes where it's like, you know, he's in bed with her, but she doesn't know it. It's like that aspect itself. It's fucking creepy. You
Yeah.
wake up and there's a strange man next to you. You would freak the fuck out. Like at that moment, I was watching and I was like, oh shit, this little girl's gonna lose her shit when she sees this man. Like a lot of these movies are independently done,
Mm.
and they have the most quality
Mhm.
because they're sticking towards
Well, because
Because they're fans making them.
yeah.
I think that's what, like, when I look at movies, I don't listen to critics. I listen to fans because they know what they're talking about. Critics expect the characters weren't realized and this and this and that. It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed
Right.
to entertain you, and if it has something extra, perfect. But I don't expect my
it's like a
fucking
little
horror
extra.
movies
It's an extra.
to make
Yeah.
sense, because horror movies don't make sense. The devil does not gonna possess your daughter. It's not gonna happen. Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Sorry if you've been
Maybe.
possessed. We're being insensitive.
I don't
but-
know.
Sorry if your daughter was possessed. I'm so
Or
sorry.
your pooch or your cat.
Sorry about
Our
it.
condolences.
No, but I mean, like, just the fact that this is part of our like our hobby in a way, or just
Yeah.
it's a passion. It's odd because it's like even my mother asked me about that. She's like, you know what? we had a conversation, a heart to heart.
Was she concerned?
No, she wasn't concerned.
Was it an intervention?
But she was like, just like, I don't understand. Actually, one of the when I first came out, I think it was her and my father had the same argument, which I thought was very strange. It's like when I first came out to them, they didn't believe me for the fact that they saw all those horror posters in my room. They looked at my room. They saw my collection of movies. They're like, we don't understand. How are you gay?
Yeah.
Are you trying to hurt us?
That's a really good point.
No,
like,
but it's
not
true.
connected.
I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know if you guys have.
It
have
happened.
Had that point.
My mom was like, "But your taste is so straight." I was like, "That has nothing to do with it."
Growing up, I was kind of like the goth rocker punk kid with the makeup and Liberty Spike, so they didn't question it. But that's just me.
It's funny how people connect. Oh, you're gay, so you must be tarara. Or you like horror, so you have to be tarara. Like,
Right.
that's not how it works.
She saw it as like a masculine thing. That's like, if I love this horror, if I love metal, because I had a huge.
You're pretty masculine,
Yeah.
though.
Well,
Mass for mass.
Yeah, you are.
So,
Yeah.
bruh.
I'm okay. Straight acting, but I don't do labels on that. But
Right.
you know, at that age, it's like I had my Slipknot poster. I loved my metal music.
Yeah,
I had
same
my
here.
horror movies, my video games, pretty much things that you would consider straight. But they saw that and they were like, "Wait, how do you like guys if you love all this?" And I'm just like, there is no, specific category. It's like we could like this genre and yet still like men.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
I was in love with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Someone was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not in love with her. I want to be her."
I have the total opposite thing about what you guys just said.
Tell us.
Literally, I mean, I had my horror posters on my walls and all that stuff, but when I came out to my mom, which was only 3 or 4 years ago, super recent, I told her, I'm like, "Hey mom, I have something to tell you. I'm gay." And she looked at me and she's like, "I know." I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "How do you know?" And she's like, "Well, you never talk about girls, so that's how I know." I'm just like, "Oh wow, that's really embarrassing." Granted, yes, I did have Britney Spears and all the Spice
That
Girls
gave it out.
albums.
That gave it away.
That gave it away. That was a
Sorry.
good giveaway.
And yeah,
You
and
talked about their skirts.
Their platforms.
which was kind of just like, oh well, yeah, it was all written out for you technically, but
Aw.
yeah, I didn't have that. Unfortunately.
Moms always know, though.
They
I
do.
feel
They
like
do.
moms always know.
They
My
do.
mom was like, yeah.
Well, my mom got mad because I didn't tell her. My friend kind of outed me out a little bit because she
Oh.
told them. She was like, "Oh, didn't your mom or sister know?" It's like, "No." It's like, "What are they, stupid? Do they not live with you or know you?" It's like, it's obvious.
Do they see you?
Duh.
But they think that that's just how I am.
Yeah.
You know,
You guys are all pretty mask acting, though. Like, if it wasn't I know I have gay boys.
I'm butch.
But,
I'm butch.
you guys can pass as straight if you tried. For
yeah,
sure.
absolutely, of course.
But if we try, but it's like, why even try?
No, I'm
I
just saying
I
you
know
want
it, like
to.
it's Pride Month. It's like it's June.
Yeah,
It is Pride Month.
We are
Happy
all proud,
Pride.
out and proud.
I have a
It's
rainbow
like,
tattoo
to
on me, so-
it really doesn't matter. It's like I wouldn't go march anymore because Pride is honestly it's a chore in itself.
Mhm.
Like it's going out there. I've done it before. You go out there, it's hot as fuck. You do the parade. You drink all day. 5 o'clock. I'm practically hungover. But I mean, I'm not afraid to show that, I'm a gay man, and I love horror. Like I will go to Pride with my Freddy Krueger shirt or my Jason shirt, and I'll just be like, boom, that's me.
Mhm.
And then you know what? It's interesting because it's even in West Hollywood. It's
Yeah.
like someone sees me with my horror shirt. Some people will give me some love. Some people will be like, "Ew, you're going out in that," and I'm like,
well, believe it or
yeah,
not,
why
you know my the Freddy Dare shirt I have.
Yeah.
I get a lot of compliments from that. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's a sweet shirt. I love it." And people give me a lot of compliments for it, and I was like, "Oh, cool." I didn't even think West Hollywood would even like me wearing this. That's why I wear it because I don't care.
It's like mostly they look at you and because I've got it in the past where they're like, "That's your going out shirt." I'm like, "Fuck yes, this is my going out shirt."
Yeah.
Like this is what I'm most comfortable with. It's like I have nothing but horror tees, jeans and shorts, and that's my going out.
You mean your Scream shirt and your Evil Dead
Honestly,
shirt?
any of my Scream Factory shirts are my going out shirts.
All three.
All 4 or 5, whatever. I don't know. There was more that they
All
released
three.
that I'm gonna
All
buy,
three.
but that's my going out shirts. Like these are my nice wears. I'm like my baseball tees. I'm like I'm out.
Wait, Scream Factory?
Yeah.
Scream Factory shirts to me are fancy.
Oh,
They are.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're
I
nice.
mean, because
They're
that's your
comfortable.
style and that's how you
Yeah.
feel presentable.
No, so
And I
that's
feel
where-
the same.
That's where I go
Like,
to the clubs. Like
I would get more compliments with my like Buffy shirt than I would get with a
'Cause
black
everyone loves
tank
Buffy.
top. You know what
Everyone
I mean?
loves-
So yeah,
Right.
for me they're
Well, like,
dressy.
well, like with the gay community, they're very into like Buffy. It's an LGBT show. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Willow. My lesbians, I love my lesbians. And my witches.
Willow. All right, guys.
Oh, we
Thank
gotta
you for
kinda
being
quit,
with
so-
us.
I know this was a great
This
first
was
podcast
fun.
to do. Like
It was fun.
Good.
I feel like going for hours and hours.
I know we,
We
could
definitely
probably
can.
just conversate, but
But at least it was a good introduction and had pretty good
Yeah,
discussions.
look for us. We're gonna put this up.
Do more
episodes
stuff.
to come,
More episodes for
topics,
sure.
You know, but you know what? Even leave us some feedback to
Yeah.
what topics we could talk about.
What do you want to
'cause
hear
it's
us, or what do you want to know about us?
just- We got the
Anything.
whiskey, tequila, vodka, gin on hand, and we will just talk about it.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Tell us what to drink too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good to do.
If you have drink recipes, let us know and we'll make
Cocktails,
them.
yeah.
Let's
Well,
try
okay.
this.
Exactly. We could do
We'll
that.
make some themed cocktails for
Yes.
whatever movie we want to talk about next. So you
Yeah.
guys
Give
definitely
us
want
ideas.
some.
We want to interact with you guys. You know, that's the whole point of this is to reach out with everybody who can't be here with us and feel like you are with us and we're one and we're a big group.
Get us in the horror community, guys.
Yeah, we
We're
gotta
all
expand.
together.
All right.
This is
good.
Gail Weather signing off.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.